The moment I saw that young guy's lifeless body in the trunk of my car, I knew my perfect life was over. But instead of calling the cops, my lover and I pushed his car into a freezing lake, watching it sink into the dark water. We thought we got away with it, until someone locked us in a hotel room, killed her, and left me to take the fall. My name is Adrian Doria, a tech mogul, a husband, a father, and a liar. I had the world at my feet, but I threw it all away for a secret affair with Laura. It was supposed to be just a weekend getaway, a cozy cabin in the woods, far away from our spouses. But that morning, everything shattered. We were rushing back. Laura was teasing me. I took my eyes off the road for 1 second. 1 single second. A deer leapt out of the trees. I yanked the steering wheel. We crashed hard into an oncoming car. My heart stopped. The silence in the forest was deafening. I stumbled out of my wrecked BMW. Laura ran to check the other vehicle. Inside was a young man. Daniel. He wasn't moving. Blood trickled down his forehead. I panicked and pulled out my phone. I was going to call for help. But Laura grabbed my arm. She looked into my eyes. She told me we'd lose everything. Our marriages, our careers, our wealth. She convinced me to hide the truth. That was my first mistake. Suddenly, another car approached. We hid like cowards. An old man stepped out. Thomas Garrido. He saw our crashed car. He asked if we needed help. Laura lied without blinking. She said we hit a deer. He bought it and drove away. Then, Laura hatched a chilling plan. She told me to get rid of the boy's car. With him in the trunk, I drove his car deep into the mountains, to a desolate, freezing lake. The darkness was suffocating. I pushed the car towards the water, but just as it was tipping over, I heard a sound, a thump from the trunk. Daniel was alive. He opened his eyes. He looked right at me. I could have saved him, but the fear of losing my perfect life took over. I slammed the trunk shut, and watched the car sink into the icy abyss. Meanwhile, Laura's car wouldn't start. Guess who came back to help her? Thomas Garrido, the father of the boy I was currently drowning. He towed her car to his house. His wife, Elvira, welcomed Laura inside. While washing the blood off her hands, Laura saw the photos. She realized she was in the victim's home. And to make it worse, she had stolen Daniel's phone. It started ringing right there in their living room. Laura barely escaped. We destroyed my car at a junkyard. We swore to never speak again. I went back to being the perfect businessman, but the guilt was a heavy shadow. The police found out Daniel embezzled money before he vanished. I thought it was a lucky break, until I realized Laura did it. She hacked his bank account to frame him as a thief. She ruined his reputation to save ours. I confronted her. She was cold as ice. She told me we were in this together. Months passed. I won a prestigious award. I was at the peak of my career. But at the gala, Thomas Garrido found me. He cornered me in a dark hallway. He knew I was lying. He begged me for the truth. I denied everything. Then, the blackmail started. We received a message. Someone knew what we did. They demanded 100,000 euros. We were ordered to go to the Hotel Bella Vista, a remote, snow-bound fortress. We waited in room 715, but it was a setup. I was knocked out from behind. When I woke up, Laura was dead. The police arrested me. My lawyer, Felix, hired the best defense attorney in the country, Virginia Goodman. She arrived at my apartment like a storm. She was sharp, relentless, and intimidating. She pushed me to my breaking point. She pointed out every flaw in my lies. She suggested Thomas Garrido killed Laura. She said his wife worked at the hotel. They snuck him into the room. He killed Laura, knocked me out, and escaped through the window. It sounded like the perfect defense. But then, she demanded the ultimate truth. She needed to know where I buried Daniel. I marked the map. She made me confess that Daniel was alive when I sank the car. She looked at me with pure disgust. She ripped my defense to shreds. She realized I was the mastermind, not Laura. Laura wanted to confess. She orchestrated the hotel meeting to give the money to the parents. When I found out, I lost my mind. I grabbed a glass statue, and I murdered her. I locked the door from the inside. I scattered the money. I smashed my own head against the mirror. Virginia forced me to look out the window. Thomas Garrido was in the apartment across the street, watching me. He had been spying on me all along. Virginia forced me to admit everything, and then, my phone rang. She told me to take a break, and walked out of my apartment. I answered the phone. It was my real lawyer, Felix. He asked how my meeting with Virginia Goodman went. Wait. I looked down at my shirt pocket. The pen she gave me had exploded. Blue ink stained my chest. I grabbed the pen. I twisted it open. Inside wasn't an ink cartridge. It was a hidden microphone and a transmitter. I looked across the street. In the window, opposite mine, the woman who just interrogated me was peeling off a latex mask. She ripped off the white wig. It wasn't Virginia Goodman. It was Elvira. the mother of the boy I murdered. She and her husband had orchestrated this entire mind game. They recorded my entire confession. I was completely destroyed. Then, my doorbell rang. I walked to the door. I opened it. Standing there was a real attorney, the real Virginia Goodman, but it was too late. The trap had snapped shut. Checkmate.